Hello, everybody. I see Robin is here.
Yep.
And Mary, I think Scott is coming and Beth, so we will wait.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It's Jill.
I wonder if Beth is remembering. Somebody want to call one of them and I'll call the other? Do you guys have their numbers?
I don't know.
I'm trying right now. Hang on. Okay, we've got Beth. I'll try Scott. Hi, Beth.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 978893941.
Okay, well, I can't reach Scott and his mailbox is not taking voicemail, so I think we'll call the meeting at 6:03. And I see Mary David, Beth Wilson, Robin Harrington, and I are present, and Scott Kahn is missing. We only had one agenda item for this evening, and we scheduled this meeting in the event that we needed to make a decision about funding for independent counsel. And as it turns out, last night, the Finance Committee approved a transfer of funds to the legal fund line to accommodate our expenses. So we are able to pay for legal counsel through that means without having to dip into our account, our private accounts, our fee accounts, I mean.
That was wonderful news when I saw that today.
Yeah. So I don't know if we need to really have any discussion about that. I think it's kind of a settled issue. I don't know if there's any questions anybody has about the process.
Do we need to approve a contract? We did that already, right?
You already did. And so that's already been, I already took care of that. So as of today, Beth Goodman is our counsel, and I had a brief conversation with her just to kind of plan for her next steps with her. And on Monday, Mary and Rob and I joined Fuss and O'Neill to go on a site visit with Emily Stockman. So that site visit took place. It was very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing Emily's report. And all of our old knees held up in the cold, which is a good thing. Nobody slipped on the wet leaves. So just to remind everybody of what the timeframes are, tomorrow is the date that Emily had agreed she would give us her comments. And I will then forward them as soon as I receive them on to Fuss and O'Neill. Then Fuss and O'Neill, if they choose, will respond to those comments. It's not clear, and I don't remember what we had agreed on, whether Fuss and O'Neill had said when they were going to get any comments back to us. Does anybody remember that? When we talked about
No,
timetables? Carrie, you have your hand raised. You're
I
doing-
believe, well, so, you said Stockman should be getting the comments done
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Matt said that they were gonna shoot for Monday, Tuesday.
That was what I remembered. So the rub is that Emily is not agreeing to review those in time for the December 8th meeting. So ordinarily, she would review any responses from the applicant and then give us her last and final, hopefully last and final comments, as well as the draft or at language. And I guess we're going to just have to see how this all plays out next week. Because if she hasn't had time, I don't know what that'll mean. And I don't know when Fuss and O'Neill will be getting us anything or what it will include. So I think it's premature for us to figure out a plan. We have to just see what Emily's comments reveal and take it from there.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if there's anything more. I left it with Beth Goodman that I would check in with her on Monday. I possibly with the possibility that she would come to the hearing next week, but that's left to be determined, I think.
Okay.
If there was going to be a continuation and we weren't going to have a substantive discussion, then probably she wouldn't come unless we want to have her come just so the commission can meet her. So we could do that if you'd like to have her come. Either way, I can plan to have her come. It might be good just so we could talk a little bit about permitting issues. And I've invited the select board if they want. I have it on the agenda for next week to talk about the next steps in permitting. So it might make sense to have her present to share some of her recommendations.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right, we'll plan on that then. All right, is there any public comment for tonight? Leslie? You're muted, Leslie. Leslie, can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah.
All righty, great. It takes more time to get my unmuted than it will what I'm going to say. But as a 30-year resident of town and having worked in conservation, environmental protection for my professional career, I just want to say you all are doing a great job and publicly express that to you. Very challenging time, very tough applications in front of you, and you all have just been doing great work. And thank you so very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, any other comments before we adjourn? Because I don't know that we need to, unless there's anything else anybody needs to talk about among commissioners. I think we've got a couple of site visits that we need to schedule, and I think I originally had hoped to do them for Sunday morning and, Beth, you're not free Sunday morning because you're running. So I'll try.
Walking.
You're walking.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Good for you. Awesome. So I think I'll try to see if I can schedule them for Saturday morning. Are you free, Beth, on Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am too.
Okay, so one of them is, I think it's 2 Wyola Drive. This is, a landowner down by the lake who wants to dredge her, the cove next to her property because, she's saying it's getting so silted with sediments that she can't get boat access to her property, to the shore of her property. I'm a little unclear what all the steps are for lake dredging in terms of permitting. I would imagine Natural Heritage has to review it. Is that right? Because it's a priority habitat.
If it's still priority habitat, yeah.
Yeah.
You're it can be permitted to dredge. This is new to me. I know that the lake has been dredged in the past. I don't know.
His own social media accounts, he plans to be available when the United.
Could somebody please mute themselves? I don't know where that noise is coming from. All right. Yeah, Mary, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I think you probably just should run that by Mark Rivers too, because I know they were looking at a lot of money to try to dredge out the cove too.
The same cove, the same location?
Not the same location, but the coves all run together and the dredging is needed in several areas.
Leslie, you have your hand raised?
Yes, is Lake Wyola considered a great pond?
Yes.
Would there be any chapter 91 issues involved?
Yes, I know that they have to apply for a chapter 91 license to do this, permit to do this. So that's another layer of permitting that's outside of our purview. As is Natural Heritage. I'm not sure with, I wasn't sure about with the regulations, whether you have to do a wildlife habitat evaluation if you're dredging. Anybody know?
I would think that they would have to, since that portion is where a lot of the fish for Lake Wyola have as a habitat. So I would think they would have to.
Janice or Beth, do you know?
I don't know about that exactly. I would think so too, but I know there's more involved. I mean, they're simply just sampling the sediment and figuring out where it's going to go in terms of what's found in the sediment samples as part of permitting dredging. But I think there's more to it than just a wetlands permit. I can look into that a little bit.
Yeah, I will reach out to DEP as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have a new circuit rider for DEP.
Is it Mark again, right? Yeah.
Yay.
I spoke to him this week. It was great to have him back. So very happy to have his expertise and knowledge. Yeah, so he's back to work. I'll ask him as well, but yeah, if anybody else has some guidance, I think it would be helpful because the landowner is working with Ward Smith, but she seemed kind of confused about what she needs to do and was asking us for guidance. And, I really was not, aside from that, I knew she needed to get she had submitted to review to Natural Heritage and she needs a chapter 91 permit. I didn't know what else there might be.
There's something else. I don't know if it's a specific dredge permit with DEP, but there's definitely a connection with all the sampling that you have to do of the sediment and disposal of the sediment and where you're gonna dewater the sediment, how you're gonna dewater the sediment. there's different parts to it.
Okay,
I think you should really tell her that she's going to need a professional who can actually help her with the paperwork, which Ward doesn't tend to do. I mean, this is a big project. And if she talks, like Mary said, if she talks to Mark Rivers, maybe she'll get a better idea of the scope of what she'd be looking at.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, Ward Smith is really just a wetlands guy.
Delineator.
This is more of an engineering kind of attempt. I don't know how big of an area she's thinking of dredging, but that's a big project.
Okay, we'll take a look at her, she wanted us to come look at it when the water level was down, so you could see the amount of siltation that is happening, because you can't see it as clearly, so we'll go take a look. Maybe we'll have some more information we can get back to her about. She's been talking about this for a few months, and she's been sort of checking in with us, saying that she was still hoping to do this project, so.
Yeah, it's also would need to be completed while the water was down, but it's a very expensive project.
They did a dredging in 2008, right? There was some substantial dredging, isn't that right? There was a
There was some, and like I said, it's been on the list for the LWAC and Lake Wyola Association since the big storm years ago brought down a lot of sediment, and it's never been dredged out. So because of the expense of trying to relook at all of it and do it, so.
And is it clear if they were to do a larger permit that the state would even permit this kind of dredging?
I think they might, but I think it also depends, like she's on the edge of the inlet, and without dredging everything, I'm not sure you can dredge part of it. Without affecting the rest of it that's up behind it, so there's a lot more, it's a lot more complicated than I think, just
Okay.
dredging out in front of her house.
Well, I will try to arrange for us to do this Saturday morning. I think it'll be okay with her. And then I will send you guys just a site map so you can see where it's located.
Okay,
All right, and then there on Montague Road, there's a small a shed project at 52 Montague Road. So we'll do the lake first and then go to Montague Road. Does that make sense?
okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn, and Carrie, just make me host, and then let's just keep the meeting open because we have a historical commission meeting, so I'll just stay logged in. I'll turn off the recording and then restart it, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at, let's see,
6:18.
6:18.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, David,
Aye.
DeFont, I, Harrington,
Aye.
Wilson.
Hi.
Right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.